pleasure of introducing Dr. Alex Hernandez.
You gotta get up.
Life chiropractor and acupuncture. He's a chiropractor. He's located on 84th Street and Kennedy Boulevard in North Bergen. He's been in practice for 13 years. Before his chiropractic work, he was a voice and data technician. He was also a bartender and a server.
Ooh.
Alex is married to the lovely Layla, and they have one child, Giovanni. No animals yet. Hobbies include running, traveling, and dining. His activities of interest include reading and racing. He's been an avid runner since high school, or even before. His city of residence for more than 25 years is North Bergen. His burning desire is to build his dream clinic this year. More to come, more news to come later. Something nobody knows about Alex is that he worked as a paperboy, delivered newspapers on a scooter at the young age of 11.
Oh, wow.
Keys to success, perseverance, accountability, and keeping a learner's mind taken way out.
Okay, so again, my name is Dr. Alex Hernandez. I am a chiropractor. My company is Life Chiropractic and Acupuncture. And I decided to choose a topic that pertains to a lot of people, that most of you can relate to. And this is basically healing from a sports injury. So many of us have been athletes or are still athletes. And the series of how we recover from a sports injury can be either fast, long, and you can do it wrong or you can do it right. So we're going to start from number one. As soon as we get injured, the most important thing to do is to immediately stop. All right, many athletes make a mistake where they know they got injured and they just keep going through the game or they keep going through the match. And what that does is that actually creates a bigger injury and it's going to take much longer to recover. I'm going to give you my example. I was playing soccer about 2 years ago and I heard a snap right on the back of my leg. And as soon as I heard that snap, I stopped. Because I knew if I was going to keep going, then I'd injure another tendon. And it turns out that I had a grade 3 tear of one of my tendons. So it completely tore apart. So it's a good thing that I stopped. Now, some people won't do that because, you know, they're macho or whatever, or I got to finish the race or whatnot. And that is a mistake because you could create more and more damage. Number two is accept the fact that you got injured. I deal with this a lot in my practice where people are in denial that they got injured. And it's sort of like an ego thing, or as an athlete, you don't want to be injured. I mean, nobody wants to be hurt. If you have a match coming up, Steve, if there was an important match coming up and you got injured, psychologically you're pissed off, you're upset, and you don't want to be injured. So that's something that you have to psychologically work through yourself. And the faster you could accept that you got injured, the faster you could put your focus and attention on healing. The next thing is icing immediately. Once you get injured, ice is really important. This is an old school method and it still stands true today. If you twist your ankle or if you injure your shoulder, the first thing you should do is ice. You should ice for at least 20 minutes and do it 3, 4, or 5 times a day. What does the ice do? It brings down the inflammation. The body produces inflammation after an injury, but to have inflammation for a long period of time is not a good thing. So the good old protocol of rest, ice, elevation, compression, that's also something that you can do. And then the next step is to seek therapy right away. Don't fall into the trap, well, I'm gonna baby my injury or I'm gonna nurse my injury, let me just rub a little cream or something. That is the wrong thing to do. What happens, and I see this in my practice all the time, is people will do this for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they go back to either running or playing and they twist their ankle again or they injure the shoulder again. Why? Because you didn't properly correct the injury. So don't nurse and don't baby your injury. Seek therapy right away. All right, number 5 is what type of therapy should I get? Now, this is why you come see a specialist like myself, somebody that understands sports injuries. You need to seek a professional because you have no idea what you injured. You may have injured a muscle, you may have injured a tendon, you may have injured a ligament, and you don't know that as somebody that has not gotten the proper training. All you know is it hurts right here and it's prohibiting me from walking, from running, or from doing my sport. So you have to figure out what is it that is injured so you can treat it appropriately. If you have a torn ligament, trust me, you don't want to be running on it. All right? If you are a pitcher or somebody and you ripped up this ligament, you don't want to be pitching. So it's important that you understand what the problem is. So we could do a proper evaluation, and we could order an X-ray, we could order an MRI, whatever may be appropriate to your injury, and that's why you seek the help of a professional. Number 6 is returning back to play. So how do I bring people back to play? We start doing therapy. What kind of therapy we do? It depends on your injury. We do soft tissue treatments utilizing instruments. We use laser therapy. We use pressure points. And then of course we add rehab as we go along. And the way I bring athletes back into play is, let's say you're a runner and you are used to running 3 miles a day. We start running 1 mile a day, then 2 miles a day, and then until we get to 3 miles per day, and you feel good and you feel like everything is functioning well. And then the last point is preventing your next injury. How do you prevent injuries? The number one reason people get hurt is, number one, they don't warm up properly. This happens to so many people. And they know that intellectually, but once they're late to the game or whatever, they start right away. They'll start playing soccer. I've seen it all the time while I was playing soccer. People would just arrive running from their car and start playing the game. That's a quick way to get hurt. What's a second way to get hurt? And you want to prevent this is make sure that you're hydrated. A lot of people are not hydrated enough. So you need to hydrate before your event. Whether it's you going out for your 5K, you're going to go to CrossFit, whatever that may be, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of fluids. Because it's simple, your muscles need oxygen in order to perform. If you don't have enough oxygen, the muscles are going to contract and they're going to sprain. And then the next piece is people don't rest enough before an event. So if you're staying out the night before, and a lot of people do this in the soccer, in the leagues, you stay out the night before, you only get like 4 hours rest, and then you're going to go play a 90-minute soccer game, you're going to get hurt. Why? Your body's fatigued, your body's trying to recover, and now you're pushing the body. Same thing, it goes for a race. For a 5K race, make sure you rest enough. It's important, I can't overemphasize that. Once you're rested, your body can perform well, and you can do your thing and enjoy yourself. So those are the 7 ways of how to protect yourself and heal from an injury. I'll take any questions now.
As a preventative measure, as you age, as old as I am, is it a good idea to buy a Wii and play the sport on video format versus actually
Playing it? Listen, I also have Nintendo Wii, and some of they have the tennis, etc., where you're moving. Those are good things to like warm up. Those are a lot of fun. But obviously, it's not going to duplicate you running out or playing a tennis match against Steve. Yes, sir.
I saw a commercial on TV about this machine called the heated hang up, where it hangs you from your legs so that you can decompress your back.
Yes.
Any comments on that?
Sure thing. So he's talking about what we call an inversion table. Inversion tables are good. Are they for everybody? In my opinion, no. Some people don't qualify. If you have high blood pressure, if you have diabetes, you may want to consider being very cautious with that. All right, because obviously you're turning upside down. The blood is all rushing through your head, so you may not want to mess around with that too much. Now, I will tell you one story. In general, they are good. You have to start gradually. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I think they say that in the instructions. 4 or 5 minutes, etc., until you get good at doing it. If you have an injury and you think you're gonna use that table to heal yourself, watch out. I had a guy had a herniation. He created 2 herniations. He had to get injections and all that using that table. So you got to proceed with caution.
Thank you.
Very good.
Good job. Good job, Dr. Allen.